I want to talk just practically speaking, how we can do that, especially like we were saying before, in this era of where it's so easy to self-isolate. How can we do that? How can we become purposefully a part of something greater than ourselves as we're naturally inclined to do? What are some thoughts?
I think my initial thought to it would be that it is something that really has to be purposeful, and it's not going to be a flip a switch and you're good to go. Now you're in a community and you have a ton of friends.
Right.
Like, it's going to take work, and it's a lot easier if you're kind of in like a college situation where you have friends that you're just automatically around, and it can be very difficult if you're not around those kinds of people that you actually want to be around. Like specifically if you're a Catholic at a non-Christian university or a non-Catholic university.
And that's really what I'm getting to, right? Because you can find community. You can all go out and, I don't know, go to the local bar and start pounding back drinks every single night. And there's going to be some guy who moseys up next to you and you're going to become friends, right? I don't recommend it, right? I'm talking about community and purposeful community. Talking about how do you find like-minded people who you want to like love and support, who you want to build friendships and bonds with. How do you do that, especially today and specifically in this area?
Well, one, you subscribe to the City on Purpose newsletter.
100%.
There you go.
You know, this episode of Honest to God, we're just going to say it, is brought to you by City on Purpose. Thanks a lot.
Like the $4.
You can give me $4 after the show. That's the sponsorship cost.
So that's number one. But number two is go it like, because anyone can just find events, but you have to actually go. And it's going to be awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm introverted. I'm really awful about talking to people. Bring a friend with you. Bring somebody else you can, like, you and your friend, or like, you can be awkward together at this event. Justin and I, we went to a Theology on Tap with Father Casey, who is from Macon. Shout out to Father Casey. And we were awkward and we were uncomfortable, but we started talking to people and we started, like, meeting with people. And you have to understand that you're going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be awkward. And once you kind of get through that baseline, then you can actually be like, okay, if I know it's going to be weird and uncomfortable to begin with, then I can actually like go and like say hi to people and introduce myself and that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the biggest issues there is that we have these security blankets that we keep in our pockets. And I'm a pretty extroverted guy, but I'm just as guilty of anybody as I'm in a room, I don't know anybody. Okay, I'm gonna check my that kind of thing, right?
Let me check my 10,000 emails before I say hi to anyone.
Right, and then, I'm going to go browse my, what's going on in the news? This is an important thing that I need to do right now, right? And it's so easy for us to retreat further. And that would be my big piece of advice is don't reach for your phone. I'm not going to go off on some anti-phone rant. I've got a great one, but I'm not going to do it right now. But in those situations, it makes it a lot harder to approach if you're sitting there doing this, because it screams, please don't interact with me. Please leave me alone.
And I think there's a little bit of an onus on those people that are already part of the community. Like,
totally.
That if you're integrated, if you feel comfortable in the space and you see someone that is obviously feels foreign and you can see that they're trying to engage, or they just don't know how to enter a conversation, go up to them. Ask them, hey, how you doing? Welcome.
And there's definitely people in those spaces. There's definitely people who that's like their job, right? They're kind of like, there's certain communities or certain organizations, they have like a welcoming committee, or they have someone that's in charge of like bringing people in and getting their information and making sure people are on the newsletter. Like, that's their whole job. So, if you see someone and they have a name tag, you should probably go and, introduce yourself. And most people are going to be more than happy to have you kind of join their flock than be like, oh, you're weird, you gotta go.
Well, yeah, in my experience, right, every time one of those things is happening, there are people there who desperately want to, to an awkward amount, get to know you, right? And even please don't go into any of these events. If it's a Theology on Tap, if it's some 20-30 somethings event, if it's something like that, don't go in there with the assumption, or even if this is naturally your inclination, know that it's wrong, right? But don't go in there with the assumption that nobody really wants to talk to me. They just want to hang out with their friends, right? Make it easier for them to come up and talk to you. But I guarantee you, especially as adults, right? We're not in middle school anymore. They want to talk to you. They want you to be involved. That's why they're there. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like, subscribe, and go back and watch the full-length video. We talk a lot more about this. We get into some other stuff. I think you'll love it. Thanks.